Today was a big day because fans went into a frenzy because of Kaizer Chiefs' first transfer. And we'll talk about the pros and cons of this signing. And because most people are going with the cons, I'm one of those people, but there are also pros to this thing. And also going to talk about the other player that Kaizer Chiefs are linked with signing from a reliable source. Hello and welcome to Khosi Nation Fan TV. I'm Pelo, I'm a host, and this is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. Khosi Football Club. Tashreeq Morris, not Matthews. Tashreeq Morris from SuperSport United. Let me give you a background story, a very short background story. We know Tashreeq Morris playing for Cape Town City. We know Tashreeq Morris playing for Sekhukhune, and then he gets released. His contract ends. Whatever happened there. And he was looking for a club. And this is October, and then SuperSport United signed the guy because Bradley Kropler had gotten injured. So he plays for SuperSport United. He plays against Kaizer Chiefs. They get walloped by 4-0. Right? And then the following week, Kaizer Chiefs play SuperSport United again, and then he scores the winning goal. Now, some people are saying the Chiefs have signed the player because he scored that winning goal, which is really not true. The other goal that he scored for SuperSport United was against Stellenbosch, a game that they won. So yeah, he has 2 goals, and if you look on SofaScore, you look at the numbers, underlying numbers, you look at the average rating per game, it's not bad. But the thing is, the thing that people are complaining about is not that his average SofaScore rating is bad. It's not only the fact that Duba has more goals than Tashreeq Morris. This season, Duba has 4 goals that I can remember right now, top of my head. But Morris over the past 3 seasons has not scored more than Duba. That is a problem, because if you think about it, if you are bringing in a signing to a club, that signing must be improving the club. But if the signing is coming in and is not better than the players that you already have, then that's a problem. And I know there's someone who's going to say, but Mpilo, who said this is the last signing? This is not about whether it's the first or the last signing. The fact of the matter is, even if we sign a prolific striker who's going to be much better than Morris, the problem is, if something happens to that striker, there must be someone who's just as good as him on the bench. But if there is Morris on the bench, that means the quality drop will be too big. And that's the problem that people are complaining about. And I completely understand where people are coming from with this. And if you are going to come up and say, the club that you're supporting is in trouble because they're not scoring goals, and the solution that they come up with is not a prolific striker who's known for scoring goals, that's going to piss people off. And it shouldn't be a surprise to people that actually Kaizer Chiefs fans are pissed off. And I understand the guy, there's nothing that we can do now. He's joining Kaizer Chiefs because today, the 17th of January, which is a Friday, it was reported that he was doing his medicals at Chiefs. So he is a Kaizer Chiefs player, and we're going to support him. And well, it would be unfair for us to start booing the guy, because let's say you boo the guy, to what end? Because booing him does not necessarily mean the management will do anything about it. They just think you are idiots who are making noise on Twitter, TikTok, and wherever. But what is happening actually is just that it looks like they're not taking us seriously, because I am wondering if we would have gotten Tashreeq Morris if it wasn't for Chiefs sending Usaile the other way. Because what has happened here is that Christian Saile Basomboli is being let go by Kaizer Chiefs, and this is reportedly a straight swap deal. Saile goes the other way, and then Morris comes to Chiefs. And I'm asking myself, why couldn't we just get rid of Saile by sending him to cheaper? Right? If it was a loan move, cheaper, we're going to pay us something. If we're selling him to cheaper, we're going to get something without having to add a striker that we're not going to need. You get me? So now we're getting a striker just because SuperSport were like, hey, we can take Saile for you. You could release Saile for all I care. You understand me? And free that foreign sport. You did not need to get a striker just because you are getting rid of a foreign player. And yes, I know there could be a point where Tashreeq Morris comes to Chiefs and actually starts scoring goals. I want that. I would love Tashreeq Morris to prove us all wrong and just say, listen, I was not scoring as many goals before because I was playing for smaller teams. But now I'm at Kaizer Chiefs and there are chances and I'm going to take them. That would make me happy. But that does not mean right now I'm not doubting, because the same thing I said when I was talking about Bonganisem. I said Bonganisem is injury prone. Why are Kaizer Chiefs signing a player who's injury prone? People were like, Mpilo, you're being negative. But the truth of the matter is Bonganisem has not played for Kaizer Chiefs this season in the competitive matches. Why? Because of his injuries. So it's not like now Tashreeq Morris is going to become this magical wizard who's going to start scoring goals. I hope it does, because I don't think Chiefs will be signing 2 more good strikers. I think they will be just signing 1 more striker. And the worst thing that could happen is if the foreign spot was freed up so that Chiefs can actually bring back Edmilson Dove. Some people are saying that Dove has been registered, has been naturalized, which means it is registered as a South African, but no reliable publication has said that, because he left Cape Town City after 5 years, but then there were no talks that he's now a South African or he can register as a South African. So that means there's a possibility of Dove going into that, because we also kind of have some problems in the left back position, because right now they are failing to get to Pasadena, which means they could say, let's look internally and look at Dove, another guy who's also just injured, who they should not renew his contract when it comes to an end. Yeah, I said it. But now let's talk about why Chiefs signed Morris. The pros of this thing, of him, not this thing, I'm not referring to him, I'm saying this thing as in the action, before people say I'm calling someone a thing, is the fact that as a striker, as a relatively tall and big guy, he's able to hold up play, which is something that Chiefs have been trying to get out of Uranga, and he did well before he lost his confidence. Number 2, obviously physicality, and number 3 is the fact that when we are pressing up front, something that Chiefs does very good these days, and we've analyzed, you can check the videos of how Chiefs have been pressing in recent games. You can see that Chiefs are very big in trying to press, and Utupri was a player who was pressing really well, and now he's injured, which means we're gonna need someone who's gonna do that job, because Utuba usually ends up cramping up. So maybe when the technical team submitted the profile of a player that they are looking for, they were like, we need someone who covers this much ground, we need someone who can do this, who can do that, who can do that. By the way, when people are scouting, they're not just using the eye test, they're using these underlying numbers. Look at how much distance he covers, look at how much he presses, look at how much he wins the ball back in the final third. And then Utera, the scout, looked around and was like, here's a list of the players who can do all that, and I think Morris then showed up. Maybe, I do not know. So if it was not the management, if the coaching staff had a profile or was matching the profile that the coaching staff wanted, then I can complain, but then I will just say I'm going to wait and hope that it does well, because it's pointless for us to say we were right, because if we're saying we're right, that means Morris would have come to Chiefs and would have flopped, and if he flops, that means Chiefs loses, and when Chiefs loses, it hurts us more than it hurts the management, because as far as they are concerned, those guys are still getting money, they're still getting not dividends, they're still getting a portion of money from t-shirt sales, they're still getting a lot of money from us buying tickets to stadium. So management does not get that hurt when Chiefs loses. In fact, as a marketing genius that she is, Jessica Mtaung, that's probably very good for Chiefs, because the more people talk about Chiefs, the more Chiefs becomes this big brand that everyone wants to work with, because, well, they are a brand. But now there's a second thing which is said at the same time, and it's just bad, man, because now Chiefs on the 17th of January are reportedly inquired, right? They inquired about Umabuya Richards Bay, who plays as a right back. Now that might sound like good news, right? Because wow, they are trying to get a right back, né? But it's the 17th of January, so it's late. Let's start there to start inquiring. But the second thing is the fact that means they've given up on signing Matulud, because remember when Kaizer Chiefs was talking back in September or October, then when I was talking about that, they went to Polokwane City and they did not just talk to the owner about a police only, but also about Matulud, and Matulud is like up there as one of the best right backs. And it's not that Umabu is not, but I'm just saying that my problem that I'm having right now is that it seems like Chiefs are not getting the primary targets, right? If I run it back, you remember that when Chiefs wanted a left back, they wanted that guy from Angola. They did not get him. They tried Pasadena. They did not get him. And then they ended up with Ukros And that's not to say Cross sucks, but he wasn't the first choice. And I know it happens in football that you don't get your first choice. Even Usirino, they wanted to sign another attacking midfielder. They did not get the person they wanted, and they were like, there is Sereno, so they got Sereno. And Uplom were just lucky because he got injured before he fell out with the manager, and then we're like, hey, defensive midfielder, let's get him. So all of these signings the Chiefs have made so far, even back then, I think the calculated ones were Umiguel, not Dot. Those are the two the signings that I remember clearly, that it seems like Chiefs were very clear that they wanted those players and they got those players. But the rest of them, it just seems like it was either option number 7 or it was by luck in the case of Plum. But let's not dwell there, because Umabuya is a good player, right? Very good player. The only issue that I have, Uguti, if we keep on getting Nabi's 4th, 5th choices, we're not really giving Nabi what he wants. Because at the end of the day, if these players come to Chiefs and they flop, people are going to say it's Nabi who submitted the profile of the players that he wanted, and then he's going to get sacked for nothing. But it also raises another question, Uguti. Since Ufrosla is on his last 6 months of his contract, that means he's leaving Chiefs. And I cannot hate on that, because Ufrosla plays when he wants to. And if you are playing for Kaizer Chiefs, you should be switched on all the time. So if Ufrosla's contract is running down and he's going to leave, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Abomabuya, when he comes to Chiefs, he will still be wanting to prove himself. So I'm okay with that. But what do you guys think about Morris, and what do you think about Mabuya coming to Chiefs? Do let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember, equals.